All right, so some terrible weather up at the Grand Canyon today. Just to try to hop right into it, I'm going to depart off a valley here and see if I can get right in the thick of it. So the plan is to head off a valley and proceed due west with this VOR punched in Delta Romeo Kilo for that 349 radial, and as soon as it populates, make a turn north on a 349 and intercept the localizer. Not a trip you would ever do in real life because it's like 15 miles, but should be fun in the 152. Let's give it a shot. Hey, would you look at that? It's magic. Here we are, the 270 heading due west, and we've got that VOR punched in on the bottom indicator and the ILS on the top indicator. So as we start to move, we'll start to pick up 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 degrees, and once it's dead on, head on up on the 349 and pick up that ILS. Aircraft is performing pretty well. The RPMs are holding, and airspeed's pretty good. Yeah, this time of year it's easy to get a die-off on the climb out, picking up ice, but this seems to be pretty good. I'm going to fast forward to skip some of the boring stuff. So we're at about 2 or 3 degrees now, and we'll just hang out for a minute. Still climbing to 10,000. Airspeed's not ideal, but it's staying alive. Pretty smooth air here. No complaints. Then would you look at that, 10,000, we're pretty much dead on. So I'm going to start the turn here in a second. Yeah, there we go. Whee! On up to 349. Holding the altitude nicely. Airspeed's still good. And look at that. The localizer's coming alive too. So we'll pick that up while we're doing it. 2 birds with 1 stone. Visibility still sucks, but that's okay. That's the way we want it. It shows we're below the glide slope right now, but that's not true. So that should be coming up in a minute, though, as we progress down towards the runway. All right, chop forward a few minutes, and 9,000 here, and dead on for the localizer and the glide slope. Visibility is a little better here, but we're going to be descending down through it. The METAR shows that the weather is still pretty crappy at the Grand Canyon, but that's okay. That's, like I said, that's the way we want it. We would never be doing this flight in real life, and the best way to do it is in the sim. A lot of people will jump in the Airbus or the 737 and just stay in it, but I really prefer the challenge of this. A lot of people see this as kind of crazy to be attempting the ILS and just pretty much zero visibility, but that's the challenge. So, but the hard part here is, this is actually really simple. We're just gonna monitor the airspeed. Gets a little too fast, I'll bring it back. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now. And just make sure that the glide slope and the localizer stay dead in the center. As we get closer to the airport, which touchdown's down, elevation is 6,556. So we'll just be careful. Start going down a couple notches of flaps, which makes it even easier to stay on the glide slope and the localizer. The real concern is just on the airspeed. at this point and watching the vertical speed indicator. I usually keep it at about 700 as a kind of a cookie cutter example, so to speak. Just small adjustments. You can see the ground there a little bit, which always makes me a little mad because I'd love to have no visibility the whole way down. It's actually easier at night sometimes to get the zero visibility approaches because with the haze, the high intensity runway lights will get kind of drowned out in the haze, and sometimes you won't see it until 200 feet. So it's really challenging. But the field is nowhere in sight at this time. I don't see it. But we will keep going, see if we can find it. Just staying on this. I've had pretty good luck. Did do one up at Grand Rapids, I think, recently, where it was a little off, but pretty much all these airports and Flight Simulator FSX, I guess this is called, or whatever the hell it is, the 2020, are pretty dead on. So, a little above the glide slope here, so I'm going to descend a little bit. Some mountains there, a little too close for comfort, but I think we're safe because we are dead on. And bringing back the airspeed now so I can bring down my first notch of flaps here. Once we get in the white arc, flaps 1. Looking good. Field is kind of in sight, but I am going to try to make it a point to stick with the instruments and not take the visual cue, because it's easy to lose it in a second. Once you do, it's gone. So you're better off. Flaps 2, and we're down to flaps 3 now. Alright, so there's the field. Just staying on the glide slope here. Localizer looks good. I don't see any of that snow they were talking about. And now it's just a matter of putting this bird down in the touchdown zone. Butter. Sweet. Welcome to the Grand Canyon. And that was it. Thanks for flying with me. We'll see you next time.